Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Welcome back. This is episode number 2 of my Vanilla 1.9. So in the last episode, we got some farming done. As you can see, beetroot and potatoes are coming in nicely. Carrots, on the other hand, not so good. But eventually it'll be grown in and it'll look better. Until then, see this giant hole in the mountain? Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, we're going to take care of that today. I'm tired of looking at the giant hole in the side of the mountain, so we're going to fix the giant hole in the mountain. So another thing that we're going to do is we are also going to start working on our animal pen area. We're going to work on the path. We might work on the bridge today, it depends. And we're going to try to get to the pond area to make it look a little less, well, boring. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is we got to kind of figure out the basic layout of how this is going to work. I want to do some kind of waterfall right here. So we have to figure out where we're going to connect everything and where the waterfall is actually going to be. So without further ado, let's get to testing. Alright, so as you can see here, got the pond at the top all taken care of, and I also decided to go with a tiered kind of waterfall system. I didn't want to do just one because I thought that would not look very natural. I think this kind of blends in with the terrain a little bit better, and I really like the way it turned out. Yes, it's very blocky and it's very square. It's not going to stay that way. I just wanted to get a feel for where the water was going to flow and where the tiers were going to be. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and kind of round it off a little bit, just to make it look a little bit nicer and a little bit more clean. So let's keep moving forward. And speaking of moving forward, I would like to talk to you about today's sponsor. Rain. It's everywhere. So let's go ahead and take advantage of this bright, sunny weather, and let's go ahead and knock out some terraforming. And now it doesn't look so blocky. Still looks kind of barren, though. And we gotta fix right there. Okay, so the next step, I believe, is going to involve us replacing this grass with a boulder. Yeah, a boulder. I think that's a pretty good start. I think what we want to do is we want to kind of bring it out here a little bit and kind of show some kind of, erosion, like the waterfall has eroded the boulder away. But I think what I'll do is right around here, I think I'll put some more cobblestone. And yeah, just make it look like it's been eroded by the weather and by all of this water that's been flowing through. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that works. Now what we kind of want to do is kind of go around and replace some of these here with the mossy variant. So kind of anything that can touch the water and gets exposed by the water. Alright, we're making progress. It's looking a lot better. Yeah, it's definitely looking a lot better. So the next thing I want to do is I want to kind of take care of this area right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace the grass and we're going to put in stone. But we're going to put in a lot of green. I don't have any there. It's all in the shulker box. It is out of render distance. But we're going to put a lot of green in it surrounding this area. Because what we're thinking is, maybe this piece of boulder fell off and kind of rolled down, and over time it's just kind of broken away and just kind of left its mark here, and part of it got stuck there. And so we're gonna make this little area, a couple blocks here, stone. All of this is going to turn into stone and green vines and all of that stuff. So give me a couple seconds here, and I'll be right back. All right, so we got the wall cleared out. Now, the one thing I kind of want to do is light up this mob farm that I've made. Oops. Okay, no, for real. So, one thing you got to take into consideration when you're doing something like this is you got to understand how, the natural flow of the erosion would be. So, behind the water and around the water, you're going to have your mossy blocks, your greens, and anything that's going to have moss on it, green on it, and whatnot. But once you get towards the center, that's got less contact, you're going to go back into your stone and your cobblestone. So you need to have a balance between moss and regular, but you don't want it to seem unnatural at the same time. So it's very tricky, and not gonna lie, I'm kind of pretty bad at it, but practice makes perfect. That's what it all comes down to. Just gotta keep going, and eventually you'll figure things out. So let's keep going. Now see, look how much better that looks. That looks pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now the only thing I'm gonna do yet is I think I'm gonna go ahead and spread this over to here just to kind of match it up. Alright, so got this section here done. What I ended up doing was just kind of bringing the retaining wall over And I like the way that looks. Looks finished. Maybe I think I might blend this a little bit here. Just to make it look, a little bit cleaner and not just so abrupt. It's kind of one of the troubles of playing a game with nothing but blocks. You're gonna get blocky situations that you just can't avoid. Another thing I did is, if you see, I grew a tree. I just think it looks a little bit better. What I'm gonna do after I whack my face off of the ground, so I kind of brought the moss up here, and I like the way it looked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it down here. And another thing I think I'm gonna do, come back to my perch, which I failed at. I'm going to bring it all along here, cover all of this up. All of this is going to become moss. And just going to kind of grow all of this moss near the edge, near the water. I'm not going to detail too much up here just because the only reason I did this is, just to make sense of why there's a waterfall there. Just because I didn't want to put a waterfall there and not have it come from something. So we're just going to put some moss in here. We're going to bone meal and we're going to spread it. And I'm not going to, spend too much time doing it. I do want to grow some trees. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and head back to storage and grab a bunch of these, I guess they're saplings or bushes or whatever they're called. And dot them along the edge here and just grow a bunch of trees. And then I will go through and grow the moss. I've already got it all lit up, so it won't spawn any mobs. So, well, let's get to it. Now, doesn't that look a heck of a lot better? I think it does. I think it looks really good. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It looks a lot more natural and a lot less man-made. It's not perfect. I'm not going to claim it is. I'll never claim anything I do is perfect. So, yeah, I think it looks really good. And like I said, I'm not too worried about up here or up here, just because this is just kind of explaining the waterfalls and why there's a little pond right here. That's really all that. Oh, I'm not too worried about decorating up here. So the next thing I want to conquer is I want to go ahead and get this path made. And I want to try to figure out where I'm going to put everything. First, we need to clear up this bamboo. Then we do terraforming. And then we'll take some cobble and just kind of mark a general idea of what the path is going to do. And maybe we'll bring one this way between all of the fields. Yeah, that works. Let's get a bird's eye view. Yeah, that works. I like that. Comes around here. That gives us enough room to kind of play with this. The water's edge here a little bit. Gives us plenty of room for farming. We're not gonna have every animal in here. We're just gonna have a couple of them, and because like I said, this isn't going to be a functional area. This is all purely aesthetics, and we're gonna have to come up with some kind of fence, some kind of nice looking wall, and not just placing a bunch of fence posts. So we'll figure that out once we get general layout, and we get the paths in, figure out where things are going. We'll figure that out here in a little bit. So the first thing we got to do is clear the path in the direction that the cobblestone is going. And this is just temporary. We'll do some editing and some terraforming and some making it look nice and blending it better and all that stuff. We just kind of want to start, see where we're at, and then we can tweak as we go, as we're placing blocks. This way. Oh. We'll end it about right here. So I think this is going to be a pretty nice pathway here. It's going to give us a couple nice areas here. We may use this side for an animal, I guess. We'll have to see what the river looks like once the terraforming is all completed, once the river side is done. A pond side, rather. I wouldn't call this a river. So we need to start placing blocks. We need to worry about getting this place lit up. And we need to make it look all nice and pretty and natural and, again, less blocky. Alright, pathway is all lit up. And I removed the cobblestone just because we know where the path is going to go now, so have that. Next thing we need to do is we need to start placing blocks. So let me go get my path blocks and we'll get started. Alright, so I got my different path blocks here as you see on my hotbar. These are the ones that I use when I'm making all of my paths, as you can see right there. So what I like to do is I like to start by placing just one of the blocks in a couple of the areas, and then we'll move to another block, something like that, and then we'll move to the next. And you don't want to place too many of the accent blocks or else it's going to look really weird, in my opinion. And then once you get all the accents placed, you just go in and fill in the empty areas with the main block. And boom, got a path. Now once you're done the little section, you just kind of look at it and see, maybe we'll do a little jut out over here. Now this looks kind of square. So let's do this. Just to kind of break it up so it doesn't look, perfectly squared. Because, again, we're playing a game with blocks. So you got to kind of do whatever you can to make things look a little bit better. Once we get all of this done, then what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll make it look a little bit more like this. With all of the accents and the water and the stone and the plants and the fences and all that. But you gotta go one step at a time or else things just start looking weird. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and place the rest of these blocks. Alright, so path blocks are laid out. It looks pretty good. We'll do a little bit of tweaking as needed. And I went ahead and brought the retaining wall up here. And the reason I stopped it right here is because, for a retaining wall, you want to separate things. So, in the events, it's got a lot of rain, this river might flood up a little bit. We don't want it to get down into here. So that's the point of this retaining wall. At least, that's what I'm going to go with. This is, after all, my world. So with that being said, everybody, we are out of time for today's episode. I had a lot of fun terraforming and making that look just a heck of a lot better. Just look at that. It just looks so nice. I'm allowed to say that, right? I mean, it is my own build. So, yeah, we're going to go with that. I'm allowed to say that. So, in the next episode, we are going to go ahead and finish detailing the pathway here. And we're going to do a little bit of green right here. We're going to bring that style down to right here. And I may extend it to right there. And if I'm being honest, I'm kind of not liking the whole bamboo thing. I don't know. I'll decide. I'll think about it. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. I almost forgot. We've got carrots to place. Now that they actually grew, and we could harvest them and replant. Carrots. One of these days we'll get this finished.